Hey everyone, happy Tuesday, June 20th. This is the Plant-Based Morning Show. I'm Matt Frazier. We'll be joined in a few seconds here by Doug Hay on Instagram. He's already on YouTube, where you should be too if you're on Instagram. Go over to YouTube, youtube.com/NoMeatAthlete. It's much better there. This is the first in a new era. First show after post Father's Day and post Juneteenth. So show will be significantly different in this new era. We're now in the summer schedule, full on, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday. My July heats up. A lot of travel in July. So we'll probably not be doing many Mondays and Fridays. All right, Doug's been added. Doug, how are you doing?
The post Father's Day era was so significant.
Well, it is partly because you have acquired an air fryer. Finally.
Yes.
That's one reason for its significance. We talked about this a little bit. I guess you sort of knew you were getting one for Father's Day. Is that how you got it?
Well, it was what I asked for. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was the kids wanted to know what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I asked for. So I assumed I was going to get it, but didn't know for sure. Of course.
Good.
Could have just ended up with some drawings, which would have been wonderful too. But...
Yeah, that would have been wonderful. All right, so let's see. We can get to that air fryer in a bit. Spend some time on that. I'm curious to hear the things you're doing.
Mindful Mary over on Instagram says Mondays are sad now without the podcast. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
they're sad for me too.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, I understand that, and I appreciate that. I wish we could do them every day, but we need some breaks. We need to be able to do a long weekend, or whatever. It's just you have to. So summertime is the perfect time to do that. Yeah. So anyway, Evie side. Yesterday was a holiday. We wouldn't have even done it anyway, even if it was.
That's right.
A show day. So take that.
I think this might be the first week of the summer schedule that we actually do the summer schedule. We know internet disruptions, and
right.
And
we did it last week though.
I know, but we had all this internet issues. We were starting late.
Oh, okay.
That was my bad, but I don't know. I'm feeling good. This is gonna be a new week. I'm feeling positive about everything. So yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, good. I'm feeling positive too in general. I'm a week now into my digital detox. I think it started. I think I was still driving last Monday, and that's when I was listening to the stuff and decided I was going to do it. So yeah, I'm a weekend now. It's really been transformative. I would say it's been great.
Oh.
Like I really have to not having the phone like on me or picking it up or looking at text messages or got the email application off my phone. That was the biggest thing I think for me was like the thing that would just pull me into mindless behavior. So now I'm just very mindful when I go to look up something on the internet and, that leads to looking up another thing on the internet. And then I realize that it's just like, I'm kind of hooked. So it's good. I mean, I don't know if my behavior's drastically changed, but I've definitely had a lot more time reading and playing instruments and all kinds of stuff. I read like 3/4 of that Walking with Sam book that you told me about over the weekend. The one about El Camino.
Yeah. How is it? Was it good?
It's very good. Yeah. I don't typically read a lot of books like that. I guess, I don't know what, I guess it's like memoir, like, but what I like about it, I don't like fiction very much. I try and I just haven't got into it, but reading some of this is like, it's kind of lighter than a nonfiction typical book would be. It's just someone telling a story. So it's okay if like, you're not that focused on it. So I don't know. It's kind of good for that. Easy read. And I'm enjoying it. The guy, I didn't know who he was, but he was in Weekend at Bernie's. That's about the only movie he's been in that I've ever seen.
Okay. My dad was in Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What was extra. Extra?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Was he at the party at the Weekend house?
I can't remember. He's in a restaurant scene, I know, and one other, but I'd have to go back and watch it.
Okay.
But so basically, I was in Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, I'd say so. Basically,
we were, and I was best friends with Sam. Or no, Sam's father. What's his name?
I actually don't know. I know Sam's name. I don't know the dad's name. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. And then I've also been just yesterday started eating a slow carb diet. I made a little transition in my
just yesterday
diet. Yep. Just yesterday. I did some research in the days prior to that. and then yesterday began. So we can talk about that as well. But overall, had a great weekend at my dad's house. Very nice, slow-paced weekend. Drank some wine, cooked some food, went to a brewery, Hillman, and
Nice.
it was a good time. Very, very good time.
Great. Did you get anything for Father's Day?
I got for my wife 5 books. And
Nice.
each of them with a little tag on it saying why she had picked it out for me. And I thought that was a very
nice.
thoughtful, nice gift. Yeah. So now I got some reading to do. Started one of them called Do Hard Things. It's about resilience or about toughness. I think it's about resilience viewed not just as toughness, not as just sort of machismo kind of, you know. So that's been a good one. But they're all good. I'm excited to read all of them. And
are they like how to communicate with your wife?
One of them is about parenting communication, and I think it does involve how you model communication via how you communicate with your partner. So I don't know, maybe the little message sent through that book. I don't know.
Would you say that you're throughout your digital detox or digital decluttering, are you spending any more? You talk about how you've been spending more time reading or playing the piano or instruments. Are you spending more time talking to people, like in conversation?
Yeah, I think so. I really think I am doing that because in the sitting around moments when typically everyone goes on their phone, which you don't realize until you don't do it, and then you realize a little bit more how much everyone just goes on their phone. I feel like I'm always available for talking. So because I might read a book or something, but I just feel like there's more availability in general when you're not on the devices. So yeah, it's been very good. I can't wait to. I don't know. I don't know how to go deeper with it. Like I feel like I'm kind of. I don't know if maxing it out is really the right word because I could certainly do way more. I'm looking forward to just passing more time this way, just to sort of see where my brain goes and where my hobbies go. It's been really good. I will definitely be different after this. I hope.
Awesome. I think it's great.
So that's that. Yep. Okay. Well, tell us about the air fryer, Doug. When I got mine, I was doing all kinds of things in it the first day. Thought it was life-changing. But so what do you think about it?
And now you hate it.
Now it's a toaster. Now I realize it's just
a toaster. Oh no, I've been frying up a storm. I got it on Father's Day morning. And the kids wanted to use it right away. And so the first thing we did was fry up some tofu. Which
what did the kids think? What did the kids expect? Did they think this was going to make like French fry quality fried food?
I don't think they had a clue anything about it. They just had heard that it was this thing that it was a new gadget, and then they wanted to use it. They didn't. They honestly didn't know what to expect. Okay. But it's a Ninja like 2-in-1. So air fryer and what do you call them? Instant pot or whatever, pressure cooker.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think it's also a slow cooker. It's really like multiple things. But I have only played with the air fryer portion of it. Okay. I fried up some tofu. They were absolutely delicious, very good. And then we had a whole bunch of family Father's Day activities planned. So that was all I got to do on Father's Day. But yesterday, I just was like anything I could find. I was throwing it in there. And so we did a bunch of like sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, broccoli, some zucchini, some chickpeas. They were pretty good, although I think that I overcooked them a little bit. So just kind of throwing all kinds of stuff in there just to see what would happen. And very quickly, in typical Doug fashion, this is where I think you and I differ. I got the basics down with the tofu and the potatoes, and then I was like, I'm just gonna experiment. I'm gonna skip the looking up recipes and looking at the recommendations from the booklet that they give you and that kind of thing, and was just just kind of going at will. And so sometimes it worked out. Sometimes like with the chickpeas, it didn't so much work out. They were definitely way too dry and overdone. Right. But I don't know. It was just really fun. I don't know. That's the way I like to cook, and it was a good time. I had a whole bunch of air fried food last night. It was a collection of air fried food for dinner.
That's a lot of what we did the first day for sure. The first weekend was just put asparagus and different things in there and just wanted to see what would be amazing, just air fried.
Yeah, right. And and some of them came out tasting like they had just been baked or roasted.
Right.
But other ones didn't. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it had a little bit like way more crisp and certainly a more even crisp than you would get in the oven. And so one thing I want to try is like battering it. Have you battered anything and put it in?
I don't know. That's a good question. Every now and then I'll make a battered thing. I don't know if I've ever done it in the air fryer. I think I have. I think I've done buffalo cauliflower with batter on it in the air fryer.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, because the Ninja came with a booklet, a bunch of recipes. None of them are vegan for the most part, but a lot of them are battered, and I was thinking that'd be kind of the next level of what to experiment with as battering stuff.
Right. Are you did you want it just to play with, or did you want it because you want to be able to cook things without oil in them or less oil and still get fried crispiness?
Yes. Yeah. I really never like obviously pan fry stuff all the time. But like never deep fry anything or medium fry, whatever you call it, where you just have a little bit of oil in there or like but a layer of oil.
Right.
And so, yeah, just like being able to kind of crispy up different foods but also to play with. I don't know. It just seemed like a good way to shake things up in the hay house.
Yeah. Good.
And I'm equally excited about the pressure cooker, which I didn't think I would be because I just have been reluctant to follow that trend. But I don't know, with the beans and stuff, it just sounds like a good way to to cook more. I don't know, cook some of our meals that take a long time. Brown rice in 10 minutes or something. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't know I could do that. That's very good. Okay, so it's slow cooker and pressure cooker, like an air or like an Instant Pot. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's some good.
And it's from Ninja. I was a little nervous because we talked because I'd sent Katie a couple links. One of them was this Ninja one, but also the Instant Pot one. And I was a little nervous after learning last week that Instant Pot was going under.
That's right.
But no, she went with the Ninja, which was good. And so now if we have any issues, I'm going to send it right back.
Yeah, I think Ninja's done a good job. I think they're here to stay. They've expanded their footprint well in a way that I think that was the death of Instant Pot, was trying to make too many things. But Ninja knows how to do that. Good. All right. Well, that's exciting. You cooked any Mexican food in there yet? Put any tacos in or frozen burritos or anything?
No, not in the air fryer yet. I did have fajitas for Father's Day, but
I had on Father's Day breakfast. What I asked for was a Southwest style breakfast. So it was kind of a Doug breakfast. Refried beans. I don't know if this is Doug breakfast. Refried beans, corn tortillas, potatoes that were just sort of fried potatoes, and then one other thing that I'm forgetting. There was avocado pieces. I know that. Oh, tofu scramble. Yeah. So it was very Southwest Doug kind of flavors.
You know what we did, which I think is going to be my new Father's Day tradition because it worked out beautifully. We went up with a bunch of friends and had a big brunch all together. Did a huge pancake brunch, bunch of tofu scramble, and then eggs and stuff like that too. But a whole bunch of pancakes on the skillet or on the brisket or on the, what do you call those?
The brisket.
Flat top brisket on the brisket. On the flat top. And a bunch of
the griddle,
beer mimosas. Griddle. There you go. Griddle. Beer mimosas. And I don't know, just it was like fun. Like all the kids were playing, all the moms were hanging out, all the dads were hanging out. It was like a good Father's Day family hang. That
is good. Never really thought of sharing a Father's Day with another.
I know. Family. Neither had I. But it was perfect.
Yeah. Good.
So lots of excitement around the air fryer, which is good. Aisha says lightly toast with arrowroot starch and spray with oil. Makes me worried. Mr. Jeffrey says that battering makes me worried that it would be a disaster.
Yeah, with the air fryer, with ours at least, like if you try to put anything that's oily at all, because I like cooking tofu in it a lot. That's the thing we most do in it, and I agree it does come out better than like a typical baking would. And it's just way less of a mess and way less oil needed because you don't need any if you don't want it, than like trying to saute tofu, because that often leads to sticking and all kinds of mess. So air frying tofu is just a huge time saver. But if I ever try to toss it in oil to make it a little bit better before I put it in there, the oil always drips off of it into the bottom of the air fryer, and then smokes and all this stuff. So it's, and then I don't know if you can put a pan under it, but then I think you're kind of disrupting the airflow. I think that's the point, is this free air flowing. So I don't really know how to do that. I think you just need to use less oil. Like I usually said, spray it. I think maybe that's
spray it. Yeah. Do you do the freezing of the tofu or anything? How do you prep the tofu before you put it?
I've tried freezing a couple times, and I've never really found it to be that amazing. So we just put it in the tofu press for 10, 15 minutes, and then chop it up into cubes. Spray the air fryer basket with oil, with spray olive oil from Whole Foods. I think it's fairly healthy kind, and then put it in.
Cool.
Yeah. Anne-Marie marinates tofu in barbecue sauce and line the tray with parchment paper.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah. All right. So lots of experimentation to do. Keep us posted on what you figure out, and your gradual realization that it truly is just a toaster that has a little higher temperature.
Well, this one looks nothing like a toaster because it looks like a pressure cooker.
Right.
So but maybe there'll be a gradual realization that it's just a convection oven. But I think I don't know. What I think is more likely to happen is that I'll just have a gradual transition of using it to make all of like any sort of Mexican food, Tex-Mex food.
Right. All right. Good. Well, that'd be fine if it does happen. I'll
air fried nachos. Just saying.
Yeah,
might work.
You probably could. You could get corn tortillas and fry them up.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd be curious to know how that works, because toasting them usually doesn't work. They just get really chewy and hard.
Might try that tonight. All right.
Yeah, good. Okay. My bit of news, as I mentioned, we don't need to talk about it too much, is this slow carb diet, which someone had asked about in the Discord, nomeatathlete.com/Discord. If you're interested in joining that, it's free. It's just people from the show connecting. Someone had asked us to cover, can you do the Tim Ferriss slow carb diet in a vegan fashion? And we talked about it, and we said, yes, you could, but like you really can't get the protein source. So because the thing we were using for it was this one pager that he put in 4 Hour Chef, which is on the internet, freely available, that one pager. And it basically says you do the slow carb diet by having a protein, which is his only options are meats, having a legume, a bean, and then having a vegetable. And that's just your meals. And you kind of just find 3 or 4 of them that you like and just keep eating those same meals over and over. That's basically what it is. But then when you go back and read 4 Hour Body, which I did, that part, looked it up in it, it's actually not about combining the meals in that way. Like that just sort of evolved, I guess, from the original thing. The original thing is basically eat a diet that doesn't have grains or white carbohydrate or fruit in it, but does have beans in it. So it's basically like a keto diet plus beans. And beans are okay because for him, they're a slow carbohydrate, meaning, they're turning into energy, turning into sugar. That is a very slow process. And so therefore, they help with lots of things. But when you add beans in, that makes a keto diet much, much more, sustainable and something that someone who eats a plant-based diet can do a version of. So I just wanted to try it because I've been doing this Mediterranean thing for the past probably month and a half, almost 2 months now. And I knew I was going to stop around now because I have a bunch of travel in July and there's no way I'm going to be able to keep it up. So I'm going to get my blood work done, just figure out where that got me. And what I found though, is that I've just been eating so many carbohydrates that I just feel like, I don't know, just not that good. Like I just, all the time, you've heard me complain about restaurants, we go out and eat and we end up getting pretzels and French fries and, a beer or whatever. And like, I just ate all carbohydrates for lunch because that's like the options that are available. So I figured heading into this travel, which I'm going to be doing, going to Sweden and the beach, it's just like, I don't know. I just didn't want to be like, okay with eating plain pasta or whatever. I just don't want to eat a whole bunch of those meals out. So I said, if I get on a sort of diet where I'm used to making healthy meals that are simple, not requiring cooking, right? Get some beans, get a vegetable and just put them together. Then that would be much better for me, I think. So that's why I'm fooling around with it now. And I did one day yesterday and pretty good. Breakfast is tough because it's just hard to eat. There's nothing to eat for breakfast.
Lentils.
So that's actually what he recommends. He says eggs, lentils, and spinach is his common breakfast. So I made up a bunch of lentils yesterday. I actually had tempeh bacon this morning and a complement protein mixed with water. which is okay. I wish we didn't have to do the protein powder as a meal, but I gotta figure out breakfast. What I think I want to do actually is make up some refried beans like we had on Father's Day. These particular refried beans had like tomatoes in them and onion and stuff, so get a few vegetables in there. I think I could eat that every day for breakfast if I had a good refried beans, a little bit of avocado.
Refried beans by the spoonful.
Yeah, or the forkful if you don't want to do spoons, or like have some veggies made up with them, and then just microwave that stuff. I could eat that. That'd be a pretty good breakfast for me.
What happened if you air fried refried beans?
I don't know.
Turn into like little crispy things.
Triple frying of the beans. Yeah.
Okay, so the whole point, because I remember when we talked about this diet, and maybe it was because you didn't understand that you could eat beans, but when we talked about that one pager, I remember you specifically saying that you weren't going to try it, that it wasn't for you.
Because the thing where you have to have a protein in every meal, that makes it more or less impossible to do on a plant-based diet, unless you're willing to have Beyond Burgers or plant-based chicken, which I did get some daring chicken yesterday because for exactly this purpose, to have that as the protein in some meals. So you have that, and then your beans, and then something else. Like tofu and tempeh are fine, but they're borderline as to whether they're a protein or whether they're a legume, because they're just not that high in protein. So I think the problem with this, the way I'm doing it, I don't think it's meant to be done without the protein as its own thing. It's just not that clear that you need to have it. But the problem is I'll end up eating a whole lot more beans, I think, than a typical omnivorous slow carber will. So is getting way too many beans, even though they're a slow carbohydrate, is that sort of undermining the low carb nature of this plan? I don't really know. But I just figured for me, it'll get me to stop eating pasta and white carbs and be okay with that for a while. If I eat a whole lot more beans instead of those things, that will be a healthy swap for sure for me.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's no fruit. I mean, that just doesn't seem healthy for a long time.
Right.
He points out
this is the idea here is that you'll just do this for a little while, and
I think I'll probably just do it while I'm for the next month, and then if it's going great and I love how I feel and everything, then maybe I'll stick with it. What I would hope is that the lasting effect is I eat a lot more beans and a lot fewer grains and breads and pasta. Yeah. That would be really good, and then just kind of go back to otherwise pretty normal. But I don't, I'm also eating more vegetables, because if you make beans, like, it's hard. That doesn't feel like a meal. So yesterday, with each meal, we also had a vegetable, and that was good.
Your family joining? Aaron joining?
Aaron is. Kids are not.
Yeah, I mean, this one is not appealing to me at all. No, I'm not gonna lie. It's just not appealing to me at all. But I get it, I guess.
Yeah, it's missing. I mean, I don't know, like, because we don't eat, people who eat plant-based diets. If you don't eat a bunch of fake meats, then the fun part of your meal is not the protein, right? Like, that's just it's just not. So the part that is really fun and satisfying is the carbohydrate part. The grain, whatever's the grain, the corn tortilla, the pasta, the bread. So without that, you lose that joy of eating. But that's, I don't know. I think this is related to the digital detox thing. I just don't want to, like, be subject to these addictions. I don't know. I just want to try to, like, eat more austere fashion. So I think it's why it's, for me right now. It's a good fit.
Yeah, well, I believe that, and that's great. Wine has carbs, right?
He does say, okay. He says 1 to 2 glasses of red wine are allowed each night, and no beer or anything like that. By the way, you do have 1 day on this diet each week when you're supposed to just
cheat day.
Right, you're supposed to go crazy, and he says you have to do the cheat day. It, like, serves some sort of hormonal reset thing. It's not like just to help you comply with the rest of the time. It's an actual, you're supposed to do it. So that'll be good. That'll be nice to be able to have that now and then. And that would be the day to drink beer. So, 1 or 2 glasses of wine is okay. The hard part is, like, I've been trying to drink less wine, not very successfully, but realizing, like, I want to drink less wine. Like I said, I just want to have less addictions that are kind of pushing me around throughout the day. So now that this is, like, giving permission, it's like yesterday I was like, of course I'm going to have 2 glasses of wine, because it's one of my highlights of my day. So I'm not going to skip that. And I feel like it's going to be like that every day, because that's one of the rewards. So I don't know. That's what it is right now, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this later, but or maybe another day. But just as I've kind of come out of the, I did the 28-day dry challenge, and then I set a bunch of new rules for myself for reintroducing alcohol. on certain days and that kind of thing. And yeah, and like that, like one of the big things I found was that on days when I was allowed to drink, I was like pressuring me to drink basically because I felt like it was a day that I could do it. And so I had to do it.
Right.
Which I don't know, I kind of felt it feels interesting.
Yeah. Right. So why don't you tell me about that? Let's talk about that thing. Cause you mentioned that was a success of that habit change. Cause you went through a no alcohol challenge for 21 days.
Yeah.
Let's get into that, and then we'll do the weather report. There's no big article today, so we'll weather report, and then we'll get.
Okay. Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't followed along, I did a 21 day dry challenge. What, February? No, I don't know. 3 months ago, maybe. Was it?
No idea.
Okay.
No concept of time.
And I basically told myself afterwards, I kind of set some rules because it was very successful. It felt very good. I set some rules that I could only drink on Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. And then the rest of the day, or the rest of the time.
And Sunday morning, right?
Oh yeah. And Sunday before 5. Like if I went and got an afternoon beer, that's right. It was like 72 hours or something like that. But no, that's not right. Anyway, it was like a little less than half the week. But on the other days, I couldn't drink. And okay, Mr. Jeffrey says it was in April, so definitely not January or February. Man, it feels like forever ago that happened.
Yeah.
And it was successful. But throughout the 21-day challenge, I was replacing a lot of that alcohol with non-alcoholic beers, with even some non-alcoholic spirits, with like really trying to go out of my way with hop water, like trying to go out of my way to like drink things that felt like I was drinking, even though they were alcohol free. And it was really after that 21-day challenge that I began to kind of like roll back on those. I haven't had a non-alcoholic beer in months, or in a couple months. And I've just become really at peace with like just having water or having, I don't know, some sort of like sparkling water or something like that, tea, instead of the non-alcoholic beers. And it has truly been a reset for me from years of having a drink almost every single night. Like where the default at dinner or whatever is a glass of wine or a beer. It has truly been a reset for me to not crave that, not necessarily look forward to that, just assume that I'm not going to have that alcohol. But what I was finding was that on days when I was allowed to drink, there was like added pressure for me to do that. So, because I didn't want to like miss one of my opportunities.
Yeah,
so
right.
When we were going out, I was maybe drinking a little bit more. When even at home, if I didn't really want one, like sometimes I would open up a sparkling water and be like, oh no, it's an alcohol night. And so then I would like give it to Katie and go open a beer just because I could. And I didn't like that.
Right.
That didn't feel good. That actually, it felt like it was defeating the purpose and almost pressuring me in a way that felt more like an addiction than maybe what I had before. And I really didn't like that. And so I kind of gave up on the rules, thinking that maybe that would free me a little bit. And for about 10 days, I drank way more during those 10 days than I had before, because I'd given up on the rules. And was drinking, like, it was just, we had a couple random days off at work to celebrate Plantapalooza and all that kind of stuff and holidays and things like that. I was drinking on a Monday night or going out on a Tuesday or something like that, and having some alcohol. And I was fine with that, but I was drinking more. And in the last week, in the last 10 days, maybe, there haven't been that many 10 days since this challenge happened. But in the last few days, it seems like I've found a really good place with it where I don't necessarily need the rules, but like yesterday is a perfect example. I thought, I could have a glass of wine tonight. And I was like, no, I drank a little bit over the weekend. Why don't I not do that? And it feels really good. I can't speak highly enough about these type of challenges or resets and detoxes or declutterings, these types of things. Cause I really do think that they break certain patterns that allow you to look at things differently and shift your perspective on a habit, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit. Just kind of reset you in a way that you can intentionally rebuild that habit into your life, or that whatever it is that you're doing. And and I don't know, it feels really good. It'll be interesting to see how it shifts. I imagine it'll continue to shift over the next couple months and year. But right now it feels like alcohol is less of a thing that I'm thinking about and less of a thing that has a hold on me than it ever has before.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's like you said, that is the great benefit of these challenges is you can do them and then they can end and you go back to your old habit in some way. Sometimes it's in a modified way, sometimes it's right back to the original way. But then over time, not always, a lot of times there seems to be this very gradual regression to something closer to the challenge state where you get back to like having much less. That's how I went vegan. I went 30-day challenge and then just went back to eating cheese and things. And then over time, just kind of without effort approached a vegan diet. And then eventually said, okay, I'm fully vegan now. And I'm just going to stay that way. Mr. Jeffrey has a similar example here. Says he had a rule about not having ice cream in the house. And then once he had a ton at first, once he relaxed that rule, but now I assume gradually has become not interested in the ice cream. So yeah, I'm with you. These challenges, I don't know. I've been on a little bit of a kick recently with this stuff. Really started off by that drinking thing, which I didn't do nearly as strictly as you. I allowed the weekend still. And perhaps that's why I don't have the same lasting impact that you've had with yours. But anyway, I just think they're good. When I feel like we should always be doing, you should always have some challenge you have to be doing. If you're not doing a challenge, you're not growing. It's my new policy.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No room for actual just regular life.
No, I don't know if I agree because you have to be in the right mindset with it. Like, I think that the drinking challenge, this is a perfect example, right? Is you never really committed to it. You're never fully into it. And you like to get the benefit. I think you have to really be all in and you have to be in the right mindset to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But you should always be working yourself. I think that, those minor changes, those really small things, like it's not a total shift in my life. It's not like I was drinking heavily every night or something like that. And it's kind of given me new life or new purpose or anything like that. But, these kind of minor shifts are really how we get better, how we become better people, how we live healthier, how we do little things. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Good. All right. Well, then let's get to our weather report here, and then we will we'll go out on that. The last one is a little bit more involved than the other one, so we'll spend a little extra time there. But here we go. Sound machine back, recovered from my daughter's clutches. Here we go. Oatly has announced the launch of their vanilla soft serve ice cream, which we've been talking about all the time on the show now. This Oatly soft serve is just all the talk of the town. For UK food service providers, they're going to be having it at summer festivals and some well-known outlets. Was first previewed during the London Coffee Festival in April. Now it's available to partners such as the Breakfast Club. I don't know what the Breakfast Club is. It must be a British thing, other than the movie, of course, which is an American thing. Jenki, Jenki. I don't know that one, but I do know Neat Burger, which is Lewis Hamilton and Leonardo DiCaprio's backed venture, vegan burger place. And they're going to be using Oatly soft serve in their soft serve shakes. I think there's a New York location. No word about whether that one's going to be having Oatly soft serve. I have a feeling, well, I bet it will. I bet they'll manage to work that Oatly soft serve.
So anyway, it can't be that hard to make it happen.
That's what I was thinking. Across the borders, across the ocean, is there some problem? Can they not ship that machine? Probably not a huge hurdle.
I mean, do you think they have their own proprietary machine, or like surely they're just buying like a standard machine and slapping a label on it, right?
Stick on there. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a good point. A good question. I don't know. As long as their attention is somewhere other than making advertising, I'm happy. So Oatly keep on innovating with actual food, not in the advertising world. Next up, Finnish company Solar Foods. This is a crazy one. And their partner restaurant Fico are launching the world's first Solein Chocolate Gelato in Singapore. Doug, what's Solein, you ask? I don't think it's a play on Solein. I think it's more like a play on Solent or Soylent. That thing.
Soylent?
From some old book. I forget what it was. But anyway, this is...
What is it, Matt?
This is the protein that they make out of thin air. They use hydrogen and carbon dioxide out of thin air and sold to the... Well, no, then it will be sold to the general public after that. They use an animal-free... It's an animal-free protein. They make it from microbes using the hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So microbes are what... You need something, I guess, to ferment or do whatever it does to the hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So it's not just air, but these microbes do something with the air and whatever the byproduct or output of that is, turns out to be this protein, which apparently has umami notes and a nutty taste, delivering a creamy texture. So perfect fit for gelato. So this chocolate gelato.
Do you think it tastes differently depending on where they like pull it from? I mean, if you're like the factory outside of New York tastes a little bit, little hints of gasoline and
maybe. Yeah, it could be the way like the water affects different foods, like New York bagels and stout in Ireland, all because of the water being what it is. I don't know. No word on how they filter the air or what. I think they're just getting the hydrogen and carbon dioxide, so maybe those are not impacted. This, I guess, I don't know. All the 3D printed foods and stuff sounds kind of interesting. This is too far for me. I'm not interested in air protein. I'm out on that. Not going to do that. It's just too far.
What? Why not? Like what? Like how is it any different than? I don't know. Protein from anything else, like manufactured protein from.
I don't know. It just sounds like.
See, I think it's perfect. I think it's great.
Yeah, I guess. And apparently that's the world's most sustainable protein. So
yeah, Mr. Jeffrey points out the coolest thing is because it pulls CO2 out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, it also pulls hydrogen out. Is that a problem? Are we going to run out of air because of this?
You have like mounds of protein, but everyone's oxygen levels are like plummeting.
Right. It sounds like an idiocracy scene.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, no details here except for that New York City's health-minded mayor, Eric Adams, has surprised his 8.5 million constituents. I think these are the words of Plant-Based News. Ironically, a UK-based thing reporting on this New York story. That he has announced that composting will become mandatory in all 5 boroughs in the coming year. And so, like I said, I don't have details on what exactly that means. Does that mean restaurants? Does that mean people? Not sure. I can't imagine you can really enforce that everyone must compost from their homes.
Oh, everywhere in California, Portland, Oregon, they all do that.
You have to. So you can't put food in the garbage.
I don't know that it's everywhere in California, but LA, San Francisco, all the major cities.
So
you have 3 bins. You have a trash bin, a compost bin, and a recycling bin that you have to roll out. And if you get reported throwing food scraps, compostable food scraps in your trash, then you can get in big trouble. You get fined. Not big trouble. You can get fined.
But so where we live, and I think most neighborhoods, not most, a lot of them, you have a recycling bin and a trash bin. Am I legally obligated to use the recycling bin? Like, what if I just put all my recycling in the trash?
No. Here, like, chances are no. But in these locations, you are legally obligated to use it.
Wow.
And so from I'm gonna come in hot take from a political representative here. I assume New York City has their own dumps, but we pay the county dump, and the food waste is by far the most expensive, or it's the heaviest, right? So, and you pay by tonnage, and so food scraps are very expensive. So, and they also pose a whole bunch of issues as they're decomposing and stuff like that within the dump. So if you're able to remove that and compost them, it's like really good for the health of the dump and like the amount of space that it's taking up. And so it's just a really positive thing. I think it would be a long shot for us to require it, like they're talking about in New York City, but encouraging it, I think, is huge for both cost savings and environmental savings and stuff like that for different municipalities.
Yeah, I like composting. I actually don't mind it. It feels like a natural kind of thing to do. And I've heard that recycling is not really that effective, or that the cost of it is tremendously high and it may actually net out to be zero impact. I think I heard Seth Godin say that on the Rich Roll podcast. I don't know if it's true or what, but composting does seem like a real thing. Although I'm glad to hear what you said, because I have always, my counter argument has always, because we have one of those loamy things that composts very quickly.
Yeah.
But when we got it, I was thinking, like, what's so like if the food just biodegrades, like, why can't I just put it in the normal trash? Like, if it just goes in the dump and it will rot over time there, just like it will in the dirt. I thought, well, that's fine. But you're saying that's not good for the dump. And it's
my understanding is that it like in dumps, things don't really decompose very well at all because it gets so compact. But then the food waste does decompose it, but at a much slower rate as it would in a compost or something like that. It causes a bunch of issues, shifting, a bunch of gas emissions. things like that can be problematic for different dumps.
Gotcha.
But I'm no expert on it, so I'm sure someone could come in and talk to us about it. We do have some feedback here. It's Kate Rivercat says that it's not really enforced. I don't know where she lives, but they, I mean, it is a rule. I appreciate that.
Yeah. You appreciate the rules.
I follow rules. I'm a rule follower, Matt.
You're a lawmaker.
And a lawmaker. I'm a fan of the rules.
Yeah. All right. Good. And then finally, this is the one that maybe the most to discuss, perhaps. There's a new campaign called Eat Differently, and I think it's a pun on Think Different, the Apple campaign. At least that's how Veg News. Yeah, it is that, because on their website, eatdifferently.com, they've got a video that is done in the style of the Apple thing, of the classic iconic Think Different ad that was done. That was I wish this was Eat Different instead of Eat Differently. It seems like the LY just kind of ruins it a little bit to me, ruins the edge of it. But whatever, it's Eat Differently. They've picked the fonts and things that are like the Apple fonts, I think. They just sort of look like Apple fonts. And Steve Jobs is one of the people. Anyway, what these are is 29 billboards across greater San Diego. They were done by renowned speed artist, Amy Berkman, speed painter and animal activist. I don't know if a speed painter is like valued in the billboard community because they can quickly put these things up before they get defaced or whatever. I have no idea, but apparently this
I don't think anyone's actually painting billboards anymore.
That's right. That's why I was like, why does this matter then? Just because she could churn out the drawings and then
maybe she's just a famous artist, and so having her name.
That's very possible. Anyway, so she painted all these things. They've got these 29 luminaries, icons, people, thought leaders. Not all thought leaders. Some are athletes. But it's just people who I don't think all were vegan, because Greta Thunberg is one of them, and I don't think she's vegan. At least I read something about people complaining that she wasn't totally vegan. So I don't think you have to be vegan to be one of these people. I just think you need to be someone who's eats at least a vegetarian diet, or even mostly. I think I saw Tom Brady was part of this. So you've got the website up there, Doug.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a list of the.
Go to In Their Own Words at the top, and then you can see a bunch of the people.
Okay.
There.
All right.
I'm pretty sure they have Tom Brady somewhere. They've got Lewis Hamilton, Carl Lewis, Venus Williams. I don't know. I think in their little video, that's where I saw Tom Brady, and he's clearly not. Even to call him plant-based to me is an exaggeration. He's plant-forward, plant-centered, but readily admits he eats fish and probably some other meats too. So it's kind of cool. I think I like this advertising in a way. I like some of them. I don't like the ones that are basically telling people they should be vegan, like where that's the quote they picked. But I like the ones where you have a person who was very intelligent or very creative or something, and then that person's talking about how they personally eat or why they personally eat vegan or eat plant-based or vegetarian or whatever. I don't know. I like some of those. Like Paul McCartney says, you can judge a man's true character by the way he treats his fellow animals. I just think that's a nice, thought-provoking thing. Gandhi says violence begins with the fork. But then, like, Greta's thing says basically people should eat this way. And I don't like that. I'm not into being told what to do. It's weird because the Greta quote on there on the website is
different than.
Yeah, it's as if we keep making food the way we do, we will destroy the habitats of most wild plants and animals, driving countless species to extinction. See, I'm good with that kind of quote. The one that on Veg News site that they show is her saying, "Tomorrow is counting on you." I guess that's not so bad. When I first read it, I didn't like it. But anyway, so this is kind of cool. I think personally, like, not going vegetarian, but going from vegetarian to vegan, it was people who I really looked up to, who I had heard were vegan or who I thought were vegan, or who fully readily admitted, said they were vegan. That was like some of the biggest inspiration for me. It was like, wow, if that person with all they have going on and like that, I admire them for something else, their work or whatever they're doing. If they can also be vegan as just like a side of that, like they're not like a vegan activist. This is people who are whatever, writers, whoever. I would just be like, wow, if they can do that, then there's no reason that I can't do this. Because that was a big hang up. Like, wow, that's a really big deal to have to be vegan. There's a very restrictive thing. If you don't eat that way, it seems like a hard transition. So I think seeing these kind of things, I think this is a really good thing to me. These would have an impact on me if I were in the space where I was thinking about it, but not sure if I could do it, I think seeing these would be a good thing for me.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. I think it's a unique way to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I have this like, I agree with what you're saying about people you look up to and kind of following them. I have this, and I guess that these aren't like just regular old celebrities. These are people who have accomplished something big.
Right.
Like
Leonardo da Vinci.
I have a problem with like the reliance on celebrities for telling us how to eat or what to believe and that kind of stuff. Just because like how do they know anything more than anybody else? I mean, they're not experts. They're great at whatever they're doing, whatever they're famous for, but probably not nutrition.
Yeah, right.
But it's a little different if an athlete is able to do it. That kind of gives you permission to try it yourself as an athlete, or I don't know, someone else that you're really into, someone who's really smart, really a scientist, something like that. If they like, that kind of gives you a bit of a little bit more permission, or just a little bit more authority to say that it's okay for yourself to try it.
Right. Like there aren't any social media influencers. Right. Like that's not anyone's bio here, or Paris Hilton types where they're just famous for being famous. Sure. There's none of those. It's people who, icons in the world. Buddha, Pope Francis, Abraham Lincoln. And these people did major stuff. So you got to think anything they do is maybe worth a little bit of examination. Not that everything they do is therefore right. Certainly people have crazy ideas, some of them. But yeah, I don't know. I like this kind of stuff. I think this is a good campaign. Way better than Oatly's stuff.
Will it be as effective? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Has anyone ever said that Oatly ad really made me think twice about what I'm doing? That hotline they had on Thanksgiving that I could call as a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Now the Steve Jobs one is iffy to me because he died an early death of cancer. And when that happened, friends wrote to me, texted me and said, hey, he ate this all fruit diet thing like you do too. Because they didn't realize that I don't eat an all fruit diet. But they said, I read that it could be that. Yeah, I've tried it before. And they said, I've read somewhere that it could have been that's what caused him to have cancer, which no one would know what caused it. But and it's tricky because he's the Apple guy and the whole campaign is around, his company's thing. So that one's a little weird, but I don't know about too many of these other people, how they died. Hopefully they didn't all have early deaths. Many of them still alive.
Yep. I bet Apple owns Think Different.
Owns Think Different, the campaign?
Yeah. Like I bet it has to be Think Differently because
no, it's Eat Different.
Oh, Eat Different.
Yeah, I don't think Apple has all the verbs different. But someone else has eatdifferent.com.
Eat Different edible keto cookie dough.
Yeah.
I like how it's edible cookie dough. like I would hope so.
I think it'd be weird if you
weird if you didn't have edible.
When I went to eatdifferent.com, it redirected me to a scary sounding website domain, so I closed it very quickly.
Oh, okay.
Don't go to eatdifferent.com because I don't want to give you a virus.
Eat Differently.
Oh, Eat Differently. Yeah, that's the real one. Yep. All right, so there you go. That's your show today. Strange show. Recently, it's weird how these things go through trends. Recently, we've had plenty of weather report things, but very little in the way of like big, impactful, substantial articles to talk about. So we've been instead talking about the things that we are working on in our lives and all that. Hope you don't mind. Always welcome suggestions. That we have some sort of suggestion channel in the Discord. Yep, nomeanathlete.com/Discord. Head over there if you'd like. Otherwise, subscribe, like, get notifications on YouTube. Very helpful for us. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Doug, any closing thoughts from you?
Keep the questions coming in the Discord or on Instagram or whatever. I'd love to do more, especially on days that we don't have a big headline article, to just do a single listener question. Would be cool. Right. So keep those coming.
Yep. What are you frying up tonight in the air fryer, Doug?
Oh,
avocado,
question.
Something different?
Ooh, avocado. That could work.
I don't think it would work at all. Seems like it wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't know. Only one way to find out. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far. We haven't thought through dinner yet, but
no.
I might try to pressure cook something.
That'd be good. Try to pressure cook. See what happens. All right. Well, that's it. We're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. That'll be Wednesday. All right.
Good parting words from Matt Frazier. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye.